ES Audio.
Hi, I'm John Weeks, and this is the Evening Standard's Tech and Science Daily. Coming up, the real meat sausages made in a lab. But first, researchers at University College London said their recent study shows there is no clear evidence that depression is caused by low serotonin levels.
It has been known for quite a long time that the evidence on serotonin is pretty weak and inconsistent, but no one has ever really got it together before. So that's what's new about this paper. We've got together all the research and shown that when you put it all together, there really isn't any supportive evidence coming out of that.
That's lead author of the study, Professor Joanna Moncrieff, who's worried about the extensive use of the drugs and how their side effects are impacting people. She told us it's now time to question whether antidepressants should be prescribed at all.
This research really begs the question of, well, are they really doing more good than harm? We don't know what they're doing. They're not very much better than placebo. We don't know what they're doing in the long term in particular. They might even be having some harmful effects in the brain, which is why they cause these terrible withdrawal symptoms.
Joanna said it's likely to be tough to hear for those who are using the drugs, and has this advice for those people taking antidepressants.
Antidepressants have this emotion numbing effect. Some people might find that useful, some people don't like that. Some of them are a little bit sedating and can help with sleep. So I think people need to really tease out what they think the drugs might be doing for them, if anything, and work out whether they really are having positive effects.
Other experts, including from the Royal College of Psychiatrists, have urged people not to stop taking their medication in light of the findings and argued that antidepressants are effective. Now, it's time to talk cultivated meat. That's meat created from the cells of an animal and grown in a lab, a process which has been used by Dutch biotech company Meatable to create its own sausages.
So we take the cells, like a minute piece from the animal, and we feed it all the nutrients. And by consuming these nutrients, the cells start dividing, starting to make more of themselves, and then we turn them into muscle and fat.
That's Dann Luining, founder and CEO of the firm, which has revealed its first product today. He said to make the meat, they take cells from animals' umbilical cords, and told us why.
The calf is being born, we just take a small piece of the umbilical cord, and these are very special cells. They have a large potential for growth. So that's why we take these cells, and the animal is not harmed at all. Mother and calf live happily after, and we just take a little bit, maybe it's a gram, maybe it's less, then basically we can expand this forever. That's how special these cells are.
And Dan waxed lyrical about the benefits of using their technology to create burgers and sausages.
If we apply our technology on a very large scale, we could easily reduce the amount of methane being produced in the system by 90 to 95%. The amount of water, the amount of land, antibiotics, you name it, we can all reduce it significantly, so we make sure that we can have our steak and eat it too, because people still love this product.
He's hoping the product will be available for consumption in the shops by 2025. The European Space Agency has revealed a robotic arm which it will use to collect samples of soil from Mars so they can be sent back to Earth. The 2.5 metre long robotic arm will pick up tubes filled with samples from the Red Planet and transfer them to a rocket for an historic interplanetary delivery. It's designed much like a human arm with a shoulder, elbow and a wrist, and also has built-in eyes and a brain. It's hoped the samples will be collected and brought back to Earth by 2033. Domestic abuse survivors charity Refuge is calling on the government to continue work on the online safety bill after it was paused while voting continues for a new Prime Minister. It said the decision to pause it was disappointing and said the bill is a pivotal piece of legislation that has the potential to provide significant and much needed protections for women and girls online. In a statement, the charity said a pause like this will put the bill's future at risk and its progress shouldn't be halted. Refuge also said the new Prime Minister must commit to making women and girls' safety online an urgent priority. It looks like we will get to see at least one new foldable at Samsung's Unpacked event next month. On August the 10th, it's thought we'll see the latest device in the Galaxy Z Flip series, along with possibly a newer Z Fold. Plus, we're expecting to see Samsung's latest smartwatches, with rumours so far suggesting a Watch 5 and a Watch 5 Pro. We'll find out for sure though in Samsung's live stream next month. Let's go to the ads now. Coming up in part 2, the lawsuit confusing all of us. Meta sues Meta. Why not hit follow and give us a rating in the meantime? Welcome back. A UK satellite company has set out plans to release a network of spacecraft into the atmosphere to provide super accurate heat maps of the planet. Satellite View describes itself as the world's thermometer and said its satellite constellation will be capable of measuring the thermal emissions of any structure on the planet at multiple times, day and night. The firm said identifying and monitoring heat waste from buildings is imperative as we push towards decarbonisation and a net zero future. A shipwreck found off the coast of Poole has been given the highest level of legal protection to preserve it for future generations. It dates back to the 13th century and has been named the mortar wreck because of the mortar bowls used for grinding grain that were among the first artefacts found on the site. The new protections it has means that divers need to request a licence before diving on the sites to protect the structures and artefacts in the area. And finally, a small installation art company called Meta has announced it's filing a lawsuit against the owner of Facebook, Meta, for trademark violation. It alleges that Zuckerberg's name change infringed the smaller company's established brand, and the tech giant engaged in egregious acts of unfair competition. The art firm claims it's tried to negotiate with Facebook over the last 8 months to no avail. Facebook owner Meta has not yet responded to the lawsuit. You're up to date. Come back at 4 p.m. for the Leader podcast from the Evening Standard in London. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. See you then.